back to my wee channel. Today on the Discovery 3 I'm going to tackle tinting the rear window and also colouring panels to stick to the side windows on the Discovery 3. Right, here we go. So what I'm doing here, I'm just measuring the size of the window and I'm allowing an inch all the way around. And I'm using printing vinyl here because it'll take the paint as ordinary vinyl would just crack and flake off. So I'm just marking roughly where the window is on the vinyl, and I'll stick it up on my wall, looking out from a Jim Clark poster. Get it reasonably secured on the wall, and heating out any imperfections on the vinyl just by handling it, moving it from the workshop out to the garage. And now I'm going to mist on a first coat, and you can see I forgot to put my mask on, but it was outside and the wind was blowing it away quite quickly. So I'm going to fill in the gaps here, still misting it on. And just wait until it goes tacky, and then spray on a heavier second coat at a different angle. And we'll wait until that goes tacky again, and then we'll spray on the final coat on the opposite angle, and this should give you complete coverage. And I'm using overlapping strokes as well, but I'm not putting too much on. I don't really want it on that thick. All that I want on is just a nice flat coverage. And just finishing off and just making sure that there's no streaks or marks in it. And I've given it about half an hour to dry. It's not totally dry yet because I want to laminate it, as you'll see in a minute. Now the laminate will seal in the paint, and it'll also give it a tough, durable finish. And the laminate is actually the same kind of vinyl as the printing vinyl, so that they both won't expand and contract at different rates, thus causing the paint to crack. So pull it back and then take the backing off, and then roller it through my rollers, which are quite tight together. And once it's stuck onto the face of the paint, it just won't come off. So I'll just trim off the edges here, just to make it a bit easier to put on the actual window. But before I put it on, I'll just give it a wipe, and I have an alcohol cleaner, but you can use brake cleaner, anything like that. So I'll bring it out now, and I'm having to do this outside, and it's quite windy. You shouldn't really be doing it in the wind, but I've done this a lot over the years, and I'm quite used to the wind. So I'll roughly position it and then fine tune it, and then finally hold it with the two central pieces of masking tape, and then I'll eventually look for the corner, make sure it's covering the window first, then I'll look for the corner and just fine tuning it here, and peel away the vinyl from the backing paper, fold the backing paper underneath the vinyl, and make sure you've got a nice straight edge there, and just pull it tight, and then get your squeegee out and get the first bit stuck down. And the way I like to do it is I take off all the masking tape, and I hold away the vinyl from the window and peel the back and vinyl off, right up to my left hand, and hold them both, and you can hold them really tight and get a nice line to squeegee away from, and you squeegee away from the centre to the outside. Again, I've been doing this a long time, so I just go in a circular motion, just top to bottom, and keep squeegeeing right across the whole length of the vinyl until you get right to the edge. And you'll notice I'm not squeegeeing the top bit down yet because it curves round the top, so I'll just keep it away. You get a second chance with this vinyl, as you can see here, because it's called air release, and it doesn't stick until I apply pressure to it. So you can get away with peeling it back off, if you get a bit of dirt, as I did there. Just making sure it's clean and pushing it out. You'll get the odd bubble, the odd bit of dirt, but you can actually burst bubbles once you've done it all. And you can apply this wet, but I always prefer putting it on dry. I'd rather burst a bubble than chasing out water for half the day. And it's just getting a bit tighter towards the top. Now I'm getting ready to push it up over the top here. Just work my way along it, and then finally push up and over the top. And that's it on. So now you want to cut it with a very, very sharp modelling knife, and holding it tight against the glass, and just do the lengths first and the corners second. Then right along the top. And once I've done that, I nick the corners and then peel away the waste. And that's basically it, and all that you need to do is just run your finger right round the edge, push it in tight, tidy it up, and as I said, if there's any marks or bubbles, you just burst them with your knife. Still chewing away in the masking tape. And that's it, and I'm really pleased with that finish. And we put the laminate on, it gives it a nice glossy finish, and the colour's a pretty good match. So I'm pleased with that. So now that the sides are done, I'm moving on to window tint in the back window. And to window tint the back window, you need a good heat gun, some water, some Johnson's baby shampoo, which I'll explain in a minute, spirit wipe, sharp modelling knife, some squeegees and a pair of scissors. Now the window film is very easily marked, it's very easily ripped, and it's very easy to put a crease in it, so you've got to handle it with care at all times. I can't stress that enough. So I've already measured the back window, and I know that I've got the sizes in my head, and I'm allowing maybe 1 to 2 inches round the size of the dot matrix, but not bigger than the actual window itself, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm cleaning the outside of the window and the inside. And this is just an initial clean, just to get rid of any sort of dust, loose dust and contamination. And the reason I clean the outside of the window is that the window tint is made flat and it's stretched one way, and the rear window curves both horizontally and vertically. Now with the window film being flat, you've got to shrink it to make it fit the curved window. So this is why I use water with Johnson's baby shampoo. The reason I use baby shampoo is that it's anti-smear, and when you put it between the window film and the window, once it dries out, you can't see any marks. So I'll spray the outside of the back window, because I'm going to pre-shrink the window film on the outside. being very careful with the tint again, so as not to crease it in any way. And the baby shampoo and water makes it stick to the window. And I'm going to get my squeegee, and the window tint, it's stretched one way, and it's stretched as you look at the roll from left to right. So you flatten out the left and right parts of the windows, and you shrink it along the top and the bottom. So you make sure it's flat down the edges. I'm creating round creases in the window film, and just trying to get them all sort of equal sized, because I'll be shrinking these in a minute. And to shrink them, you get your heat gun and you apply a little bit of heat and very lightly push out the crease. And I'll show you a bit closer here, and you don't apply too much heat and it creases it, too little heat and it won't shrink. So you've got to get used to this, and I would practice a bit first. Very lightly push it out and it'll probably create smaller creases. So we'll shrink this one. You can see it just creasing a little bit there. Push it out and it creates smaller creases. So you just keep heating them, keep shrinking them, pushing them out, creating smaller creases, and just repeating again. You do that again and again until all the creases have gone. But this takes quite a while, and I can't stress enough for you not to heat them too much and get carried away, because one little slip with the heat gun, it creases and ruins the whole film. And this stuff can be up to £30 a metre. So you don't want to be continually starting from scratch again, so it could cost you a fortune. So it does take a while to get all the creases out, and I'm still going here, about half an hour in. So I'll speed it up a little bit and just make sure every little crease is heated and pushed out. And if a crease forms down the side of the window, that won't shrink in that position, so you've got to push it round and onto the top, or onto the bottom, so that you can apply a bit of heat. Yeah, it's nicely flat now, so that you can apply a bit of heat, shrink it, and push it out flat. And once you've done the last one, just give it a check all the way around the window, and if it's all nice and flat, it'll actually go nice and flat onto the inside of the window. So I'm just double checking everything again, and then move on to the bottom and repeat and do exactly the same. So that's it done now, but what I need to do now is, there's a dot matrix runs on the inside of the glass, and I'm going to get my marker out. I've got a China graph pencil, and I'm going to shine a torch through the window so I can see where the dot matrix is, and then I'm going to put little white marks all the way around the window, maybe about an inch apart, and I'll put these about 5mm to the outside of the dot matrix. But you've not got a lot of room inside the window, so they have to be pretty tight to the dot matrix for it to fit inside the panels in the rear window. Sometimes you can take the panels off, but it's more often more hassle than it's worth, and you can get away with just covering the dot matrix and keeping the panels on. So there we go, you can see the line all the way around. Now you can take the film off the window, again taking great care and handling it really softly. And I'll roll it right up. I'll take it away inside and cut it now. Again, handling it with great care. One false move here can just ruin the whole thing. And cutting it with a sharp modelling knife. Now I do a lot by hand, and you can get away with cutting it by hand. You don't cut into the film, you cut kind of away from the film, if you know what I mean. So that you don't want to cut into the visual area. And because the edge of it isn't really seen, I mean, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because the black of the window surround will hide it. Now I'm putting masking tape on the backing film and on the window tint to pull them apart, because once you put the baby lotion on, it's difficult for anything to grip onto it afterwards. So I'm just doing it at this stage. So a final clean of the inside of the window. It's got to be absolutely spotless, because any little mark, any little bit of dust shows in the film and looks really bad. So you go over it and over it 2 or 3 times in different directions, and again I'm doing it outside, so you know the wind's blowing, so there's going to be something. I wouldn't be surprised if something ends up in the window. So here's the masking tape. I'll pull this back a little bit and then get the baby shampoo on it quickly, because if this stuff sticks together you just can't get it apart. And absolutely load the window with the baby shampoo and water. And you're actually better doing this with the tailgate shut and sitting inside the vehicle. But I'm a bit older these days, I'm not quite as ambidextrous. And I've done lots of them before, so I can just do it above my head. And again, I'm having to do it in the back of the disco. I could do it in my little garage, but you're better as close as you can to the actual vehicle, because once you got the backing off of this, it just seems to want to fold in on itself. And I'm taking great care not to touch the face of the film, because it'll show up any thumbprints or any marks. And I'm getting near the end now. Oh, and also make sure your hands are spotlessly clean as well. So I'm treating it with great respect, and then I get it with the corners and just make sure that the window's absolutely soaking. And I'm just going to lift it up and just get it straight on. But it was a wee bit windy today, and you can see I'm getting a bit of trouble here trying to get it on. You know, if this was inside the vehicle, you would have no trouble getting that on. But this is where the baby lotion lets you reposition it, which is great. So I'm gradually getting it on there, trying not letting it touch any of the trim. Now just move it into position, just catch it before it blows down. And it's creased ever so slightly there, but I got away with it. And then you can push it into position so that it covers the dot matrix. I'm just taking my time here, just to make sure it's exactly right. And get my squeegee, and I'm very lightly squeegeeing left to right, horizontally. Once it's got a hold, I'm pressing it very firmly, and I'm angling the squeegee so the water moves out at an angle and goes out cleanly. And I'm pressing quite hard here, and then eventually, when you get close to the edge, you push it out really hard out to the edge of the glass. and it's good to get a really good first sort of squeeze on the squeegee out to the outside, especially in the dot matrix, because you want it sticking to that dot matrix the first time. Then I'm doing the widest bit last, and I'm pushing out quite firmly here. It's quite an important step, this, so just take your time, make sure you do it right. And if there are any bits that bubble up or creases that form, you just heat them along the top and the bottom and push them out with a squeegee. So I'm dragging them into the middle there and pushing them out. And you just do that all the way around. And you take the heat gun and go all the way around the outside, just make sure it's stuck to the dot matrix. Just keep going over it until it's done. And there we have it. And there's the side window, the coloured vinyl on it, and the rear tinted window, and that's given me quite a bit of privacy in the back, and I'm really pleased with that. There's virtually no marks on the window film, and it was a really good match for the colour of the vehicle on the sides. Well, that's it done, and I'm really pleased with the results. It's difficult doing the tint outdoors because of the wind. You know, I don't have the luxury of a garage, but I managed to get it on without a single mark, which I'm very pleased about. And the sides have turned out really well. So I hope this has given some of you, a bit inspiration to have a go yourself. It's really not bad a job to do. The worst bit, I suppose, is collecting all the bits and pieces that you need to use to do the actual job beforehand and know where to get them. But I'm sure with a bit of practice you can give it a go and achieve good results. And one other thing, once you've cut the pattern for the back window, just keep a hold of the pattern and you can charge your mates 150 quid for doing their back windows. So as usual, if you enjoyed the video, please thumbs up, please keep subscribing, keep watching, and we'll see you again soon on the Garage of Dad.